Okay, year 11. We're going to see, can you see this window? Yes. Right, we're going to take you through the summary quiz. Okay, you need a scrap bit of paper, something you can write down some answers. We'll go through it. You pause at each question if you need it. I'll just give you 5 seconds or so, and then we'll go back through it. Okay, so we'll try and get it done relatively quickly here. Okay, so question number 1. The primary function of the lungs is it respiration? Is it gas exchange? Is it inhalation or circulation? So A, B, C, or D, and you can write either letter or phrase. Okay, pause it here if you need a bit more time. Question 2. Where does gas exchange take place? Is it A, trachea, B, the bronchus, C, the bronchioles, or D, alveoli? 3. Which feature is not applicable to the alveoli? A, good blood supply, B, moist, C, thick membrane, or D, large surface area. Question 4. What change does not occur during inhalation? Inhalation is breathing in. A, the volume increases, B, the pressure decreases, C, intercostal muscles contract, and D, diaphragm moves up. 5. Write out the balance symbol equation for aerobic respiration. Okay, it's something plus something gives you something plus something. So it's balance symbol equation. Pause it here to get that done. 6. What are the equivalent structures in the lungs? So you'll need to write 4 things down, A, B, C, and D. So the glass tube, what is that referring to in this model? Bell jar. C, the balloons. And D is the rubber sheet. You'll get to see this model when you get back into school. Okay, it's one they like to ask about sometimes. 7. What factors are an indicator of good fitness? Is it A, low resting pulse, B, a quick recovery, C, a high maximum pulse, or D, a slow increase in breathing? Now, there's more than one answer or letter, okay? So you write down what factors you think are. 8. Identify the effect of exercise that is not true. A, the respiration increases. B, arteries dilate. Dilate means widen. C, stroke volume decreases. Or D, breathing rate increases. Number 9, you're going to have to write A, B, and C here. So when muscles anaerobically respire with glucose, what do they make? That is A. Yeast then makes 2 things anaerobically with glucose. It is B and C. Just pause this here for a second. Okay, we're back, sorry. So that's 9. So 2 things for yeast, anaerobically respiring. And then 10, lastly, give 3 ways anaerobic respiration differs from aerobic in muscles. Okay, so 3 differences. And you can call them A, B, C and write them down. Okay, so you can pause it here and go back and have a little look. What we're going to do is I'm going to go back to the start and we're going to go through this. Okay, and we'll highlight a few things. All right. Let me do it this way here so I can draw and such like. Okay, so we have the primary function of lungs, right? And that is, well, just to clarify, respiration is the chemical burning of food and oxygen in the cells. Okay, so it's not the primary function. Inhalation is breathing in, yes. It's not the primary function of the lungs, okay? There's also exhalation. Circulation is the blood traveling around the body. And so the primary function here is gas exchange. Okay, that's what we are looking for. Gas exchange, B, as your main function of the lungs. Okay, that's what they're there for. And inhalation, I know, is part of that, so is exhalation. All right. Next one. Where does gas exchange take place? Well, trachea is the pipe bringing air in and out, okay, from the throat and mouth and nose. Bronchus is then the first branch off the trachea. Bronchioles are the next branches off it, so they get smaller and smaller, but the gases do not exchange until they get to the alveoli. Okay, so the answer then is D, right? I'll get a wee bit thicker here. That might make it go quicker. Okay. Next then, which feature is not applicable to the alveoli? Okay, does it have a good blood supply? Yes, it does, and that enables a concentration gradient to be maintained. Okay, lots of carbon dioxide coming to the alveoli to then get exhaled, and lots of oxygen being picked up by the blood on inhalation. Moist, yes, you have moist linings inside the alveoli, and that helps with diffusion across the membranes. Large surface area, yes, you might have read in your notes and so on, like the area of your lungs really is about a tennis court size. Okay, very large indeed. So the one that's not applicable is the thick. It's not a thick membrane. Okay, it's only one cell thick, so it's very thin. So the answer here is thick is not applicable. Okay. What change does not occur during inhalation? Inhalation is breathing in. Okay, for that to happen, you need your intercostal muscles to contract. That's the first thing. At the same time, the diaphragm moves not up but down. Okay, it's going to go down into your abdomen. Okay, if you actually relax your abdominal muscles and hold your tummy and breathe in, you'll notice your tummy gets pushed out a little bit. Okay, and that's because the diaphragm above is a dome and it then pushes down, and that's it contracting to create a bigger volume. Okay, so the volume does increase, and when you increase the volume, the pressure decreases. So the one that is not true or not occurring is the diaphragm moves up, because it moves down. Write out the balanced symbol equation. Okay, I've done it for you here, I hope. So there you go. Glucose C6H12O6 plus the 6 oxygen, 6O2 gives you 6 waters and 6 carbon dioxides. Okay, that's one to memorize and learn. Okay. Number 6, what are the equivalent features? Okay, they're hidden behind the glass tube. That would be either trachea or the bronchi. Bronchi is just, really it's these two branches here would be the bronchi. Okay, the Y-shaped part. So I would say trachea, strictly speaking here. Bell jar. B would be the chest cavity. Okay, I would accept ribs. All right, so I would happy with that. And the lungs then. Okay, if you'd said alveoli, okay, I'll accept that, but the lung structure that fills, okay, when air comes in, and then the diaphragm. Okay, that's really only got the one answer to it. That's the rubber sheet. Now, this bell jar will show you when you get back to class. Okay, when you pull down on the diaphragm, the balloons fill a little. So yes, just doesn't need to be air doesn't need to be pumped in or pushed in. Okay, it actually gets drawn in when you change the volume inside the glass jar. So it's useful to see. It has its limitations, of course. Doesn't necessarily fill the balloons quite as much as what this picture says. What factors are an indicator of good fitness? Okay, this is just trying to test you the idea that if the fitter somebody is, there's some kind of keynote indicators. Okay, when it comes to things like their breathing, respiratory system, and the circulatory system. Firstly, they tend to have a lower resting pulse. Okay, so I would allow A. There's actually 3 answers here to get full marks. Okay, so a low resting pulse is a good thing. All right, okay, that's from a fitness point of view. It means that your heart doesn't have to work as hard to pump the kind of the suitable amount of blood around. A quick recovery is another. You tend to not be out of breath for as long, okay, and so you get back to normal quicker. That's another trend you're looking for as an indicator of fitness. And the slow increase in breathing. Okay, the fitter somebody is, probably the less their breathing needs to increase in order to do something. So a run would not require as much breathing, or at least a lower rate than somebody who's unfit, who might be panting and puffing very, very fast. The high maximum pulse, that tends to be an indicator of a kind of reduction in fitness. Your heart has to pump quicker in order to provide and meet the needs. So somebody who's very unfit might get a maximum pulse rate of like 170 or something beats per minute, whereas somebody who's very fit might only go up to 110 or 120, something like that. Okay, so C is about the only one here that's not an indicator of fitness. It's a lower maximum pulse would be the answer. Identify the effect of exercise. Not true. Well, respiration rate increases, so that is true. Okay. Arteries dilate, they widen. Yes, they do. That's to allow more blood to get to the muscles in order to deliver things and also to pick up the waste. The breathing rate will increase. Yes, so as you can get more oxygen in and more carbon dioxide out. The one that's not true is C. The stroke volume is the kind of amount of blood pumped by your heart each beat. Okay, and so that has to increase rather than decrease. So the stroke volume would increase and whenever exercise is undertaken. Number 9. Okay, complete the following of the answers behind. When muscles anaerobically respire with glucose, you make lactate or lactic acid. Okay, and when yeast does the same, it makes alcohol or ethanol and carbon dioxide. Okay, those are the 3 answers there. And the last one, 3 ways in which anaerobic respiration differs. Well, we'll start up here. The most obvious, well, not most obvious, but lactate is produced in muscles anaerobically, not aerobically. Okay, there's no water or carbon dioxide produced anaerobically. Okay, as compare that with aerobic. There's less energy released. Okay, so those are all to do with products that would work. There is another obvious sort of one that is that anaerobic respiration does not use oxygen. So it's more to do with the reactants, okay? But I would probably stick those top 3 or maybe the best 3 answers. However, I'll allow the fact that oxygen is not used in anaerobic compared to aerobic. Okay, look, that's just a little overview of the topic. What will happen is when you're back to school, we will check it all. I'm sure we'll do a 1.7 review as well and give you a chance to iron out any issues you have with it. But other than this, look to tidy up this booklet if you can. Make sure you get all the notes filled in and say watch the little videos we've produced for you and have a good Easter. Okay, and we look forward to seeing you the week back. Right, so bye.